In the colourful world of comic book lore, there exists a character who takes the familiar archetype of a superpowered alien protector and gleefully turns it on its head. Enter Omni-Man, the powerhouse who isn't exactly your friendly neighbourhood superhero. No, Nolan Grayson is something else altogether, and fans of the original comics know this well. If you will, a world where superhuman strength, unmatched speed and nigh invulnerability aren't the hallmarks of benevolence, but instead serve a darker purpose. A world where truth, justice and the American way is a quaint relic of the past, and Omni-Man stands as a living contradiction to the ideals of his earthbound counterparts. Imagine a world where faster than a speeding bullet is only the tip of the iceberg. A reality where more powerful than a tank, that's not even breaking a sweat. Omni-Man is a character who redefines the boundaries of superhuman capabilities, all while making wisecracks that would make even Deadpool raise an eyebrow. So buckle up, folks, as we embark on a journey into the bewildering anatomy and alarming powers of this unknown emperor of the Viltrumite race. Before we go into our explanation, we have a small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you very much. Now let's begin. Omni-Man, Viltrumite Physiology. So let's dissect the Viltrumite physiology of Omni-Man. You see, being a Viltrumite, it's not just about sporting a flashy outfit and having an epic mustache. It's about having a genetic toolkit that makes the mutants look like amateurs. Viltrumite genes are like the Swiss Army knives of the genetic world, cranked up to 11 on a superhero scale. These bad boys are so adaptable and powerful that they can practically have a tea party with DNA from various species, and the result, well, it's a genetic jamboree where the genes with the best compatibility get together and they throw a wild shindig. And what do you get when these genes decide to merge their DNA in the most epic way possible? You get offspring that are closer to pure Viltrumite heritage. These little tykes may start out as regular children, but give them some time and they'll be shooting lasers from their eyes. They'll be zipping around faster than speeding bullets and probably be cracking jokes funnier than a stand-up comedian. Ow, well, maybe not. This guy's strength is the stuff of legend. He makes Hercules look like a mere mortal with a gym membership. We're talking about the kind of muscle that can bend steel like it's putty, punch through walls like they're made of paper, and hoist massive objects with all the ease of picking up a bag of groceries. But Omni-Man doesn't stop at just brute raw force. No, he's got more tricks up his super sleeves. He can create shockwaves and concussive forces by clapping his hands or delivering blows. So imagine giving a high five that could level a skyscraper. Yeah, that's a party trick. Oh, and those legs of his, like twin rocket boosters. He can leap incredible distances, covering miles and miles in a single bound, and if he's feeling particularly adventurous, he might just hop his way right into Earth's orbit. Our man Nolan can create sonic booms that are like the rock and roll concerts of the superhero world. Loud, explosive, and powerful enough to level entire cities. If you thought your neighbour's stereo system was intense, think again, because Omni-Man's sonic booms are more like a rock star's encore, and they'll blow out your eardrums and your expectations, all gone to smithereens. But that's not all either, because Omni-Man's got the kind of stamina that makes marathon runners look like amateur joggers. This guy can go toe-to-toe with baddies for hours on end, flipping, acrobating, and generally throwing down with the best of them. And it's all without breaking a sweat. Whether he's in the middle of an epic battle, performing death-defying acrobatics, or facing challenges that would make mere mortals curl up and cry, Omni-Man just keeps going and going like an Energizer bunny. And speaking of breathtaking feats, let's talk about Omni-Man's lung capacity. This guy can hold his breath for weeks at a time. I mean, sure, we've all tried to see how long we can hold our breath in the pool, but Omni-Man would have us gasping for air before we even hit the shallow end. The guy's like a walking fortress. Energy attacks, lasers, plasma beams. Yeah, they're about as effective on Omni-Man as a squirt gun against a forest fire. He can stroll through explosions without a care in the world, making the action heroes of yesteryear look like they're playing with sparklers. Even the most powerful assaults barely leave a scratch on him. Furthermore, Omni-Man's got a superhero version of the ultimate frequent flyer Miles card because he can take to the skies with the grace of an eagle. Flight? Yeah, obviously. He can create his own leverage anywhere and soar through the air faster than you can say, up, up and away. And it's not just limited to our lovely planet. He can even navigate the vacuum of space like it's Disneyland. Just think of him as the ultimate airborne delivery service for justice, or injustice, you decide. And if you thought that was all, Think again. His hearing is like an audiophile's dream, picking up sounds from distances that would make a bat jealous. And he can even block out the stuff he doesn't want to hear, like nagging sidekicks maybe. His vision is like having superpowered binoculars for eyeballs, allowing him to spot objects miles away as if they were right under his nose. How does Omni-Man's healing factor work? Omni-Man's got a regenerative healing factor that's more complex than a Rubik's Cube. It's not just about slapping on a band-aid and calling it a day, it's about bouncing back from injuries like a champ, and with a style that'll leave you in awe. So here's the deal. Omni-Man's healing factor isn't exactly snap your fingers, you're good as new. No, the speed of his regeneration depends on how severe the injury is. You know, kind of like how some microwave popcorn pops faster than others, but it's all delicious in the end. Now, while we'd all love to think of Omni-Man as an unstoppable force, that's clearly not the truth if there's types of injuries that might be a bit too much for him, even for his healing prowess. After all, every superhero has their limits, right? But Viltrumites, like Omni-Men, tend to grow stronger with age. That's right, they're like fine wines, they get better over time. So it's entirely possible that the healing factor becomes even more efficient as they get older. But enough about that, let's get back to the good stuff. Omni-Man can recover from broken bones, torn muscles, and even the kinds of grievous wounds that would make the rest of us faint at the sight of them. He's almost like the superhero version of a human disinfectant wipe, because he's virtually immune to all forms of illness and contaminants, like he's wearing a shield made of pure awesomeness. This healing factor doesn't just work its magic on injuries, it also makes sure his body doesn't generate a ton of fatigue toxins, and that means he can keep going and going, exerting himself for what feels like an eternity, but without breaking a sweat or collapsing in a dramatic superhero heap. Is Omni-Man faster than light? Omni-Man's got the kind of speed that could make your Tesla look like a Prius. This isn't just your average speed, it's like a turbocharged rocket strapped to a lightning bolt. Need to get somewhere faster than a cat saying meow? Well, Omni-Man's got your back, and he'll whisk you across the continents faster than you can wolf down that last slice of cold pizza. But he's not just a speedster here on Earth, he's a cosmic daredevil in the superhero realm. Think of him as the space cowboy of the universe, with a one-way ticket to the stars. He's flying nearly as fast as light itself, and if you ever happen to see him stirring up tailwinds strong enough to make the big bad wolf jealous, just be grateful you're not in the path of his superhero-sized jet stream. Now, let's ground ourselves with some reality. Omni-Man didn't just take a leisurely stroll to the Mantis planet. He rocketed through the galaxy from Earth in just a week. But here's where it gets mind-blowing. The Mantis world is chilling in the Virgo supercluster a whopping 65 million light-years away. To put that in layman's terms, flying that distance in a week means Omni-Man was moving over 3 billion times faster than light. I mean, who needs a calculator and headaches when you can just watch Omni-Man break the laws of time and space like it's just another day at the office? Omni-Man's got the kind of speed that defies all logic and physics. You see, once he's got in the vacuum of space, there's no limits, nearly. He can just keep accelerating until he bumps into something, and he's not at risk of running out of gas or losing energy. Does Omni-Man Viltrumite physiology require him to eat? Let's unravel the age-old question. Does this Viltrumite superhero need to chow down on burgers and guzzle Gatorade like the rest of us mere mortals? Now, in traditional human biology, we need our daily fix of food and water to keep the engine running. We're talking energy for everything from cellular respiration to tissue repair and, of course, maintaining that sweet spot we call homeostasis. And let's not forget about oxygen, the breath of life, which plays a pivotal role in our cellular metabolism. But here's where Omni-Man flips the script because, you see, he's not your average human. For starters, he's been spotted chilling in the vacuum of space, which, in case you missed, isn't exactly a food court or a convenience store. So it's safe to say he doesn't require oxygen in the same way we do. Breathing? Who needs it when you're Omni-Man? Now here's where things get a bit hazy. The comics don't exactly lay out the fine print on whether Omni-Man needs to indulge in a big juicy steak or sip on an ice-cold soda. His super-duper physiology could be very well cooking up energy in a way that's as alien as his home planet. Food and water might be less essential or heck, just even an option for this guy. But this mystery doesn't stop here. It's like opening a Pandora's box of questions. What are the biological processes that fuel Omni-Man's incredible powers? How does his Viltrumite physiology handle extreme conditions like space? One thing we know for sure is that Viltrumites are incredibly efficient at energy production. I mean, they can take one breath and stretch it for 2 weeks. So do Viltrumites eat at all, or are they just nibbling on the occasional cosmic snack? It's a bit of a head scratcher, but here's the lowdown. They might not need to eat daily, considering how efficient their bodies are at adapting and fighting off fatigue. Can Omni-Man's powers be transferred or replicated? Let's take a look into the fascinating world of genetics, biology, and technology within the mind-boggling universe of Invincible. And we're not just scratching the surface here, we're diving into the deep end to explore whether Omni-Man's Viltrumite abilities can be handed out like party favours, or if Mother Nature's got a cosmic security system in place. First up, we've got the classic genetic inheritance, the straightforward method where Omni-Man's powers are passed down to his offspring, as we've seen with his son, the one and only Invincible. But could this transfer of powers be recreated through some fancy genetic engineering? Considering how advanced Viltrumites are in the science and technology department, it's not entirely out of the question. And then there's the wild world of cloning, where you can have your very own Omni-Man copy for those days and you just need an extra punch of power. But, and it's a big but, the question is, would these clone powers be as fiery hot as the original deal, or just a lukewarm knockoff? Now, let's throw some tech wizardry into the mix. Could the technological wonders of the Invincible universe craft a suit or gadget that mimics Omni-Man's super awesomeness? Imagine strapping on your Viltrumite suit in the morning, ready to go conquer the day. And what about those other superpowered beings in the Invincible universe with the magical ability to absorb or copy powers? Could they snag Omni-Man's abilities like kids grabbing candy from a piñata? Well, that's the million-dollar question. The real kicker is whether they could handle that immense power and the sheer physical demands of Viltrumite abilities. And even if by some cosmic miracle the powers could be transferred or replicated, there's no guarantee they'd play nice in a non-Viltrumite host. They could turn out to be as volatile as a soda can in a microwave, with unforeseen side effects that nobody signed up for. And so, here's the cosmic conundrum. Is Mother Earth pulling the strings here, making sure Viltrumite powers stay in the family to prevent dilution and universal chaos? But in the ever-expanding universe of Invincibles, one thing's for sure, the possibilities are as endless as the stars. How does aging affect Omni-Man's powers? It's the age-defying world of Viltrumites, where time is their ally and aging is nothing like the slow-motion train wreck we as humans go through. You see, in the Invincible comic series, Viltrumites, like the infamous Omni-Man, have the kind of longevity that could make the gods look like a spring chicken. They don't just age gracefully, they age ferociously. While we humans start sagging and slowing down, Viltrumites seem to get stronger and tougher as the years roll on. It's like they're sipping from the fountains of youth and power combined. And it's this unique aspect of their biology that makes them the powerhouses that they are. It's not just about saving the world, it's about having an eternity to protect the art of world saving. Now here's where things get a bit murky. It's like they're playing it coy with us, letting us bask in the aura of eternal strength without revealing the fine print. But there's a few theories swirling around the cosmic conundrum. One idea is that Viltrumites might undergo subtle biological changes over time that gradually crank up their physical abilities. So it's like they're getting software updates, but instead of fixing bugs, they're adding superpowers. Then there's the good old skill factor. With age comes experience, and Omni-Man would naturally become a more skillful superhero even if his powers don't go through a raw biological growth spurt. And let's not forget the survival of the fittest. The Viltrumite philosophy is all about being the top dog, and Omni-Man surviving and thriving for so long might suggest a continual power surge, or at least a sustained strength that puts him head and shoulders above the rest. Mental fortitude and strategic thinking can also mature over time, making an older Viltrumite a tactical genius in combat, even if their raw power doesn't see a skyrocketing increase. So it's like they've unlocked the ultimate cheat code for the game of life. Can Omni-Man establish a psychic link with beings outside his race? The question of the day is whether he's got a telepathic hotline to the cosmic grapevine. Now, in the Invincible universe, Omni-Man isn't exactly known for sporting a pair of psychic bunny ears that allow him to tune into the thoughts of beings, whether they're from his race or not. No, telepathy isn't the star of the show for Viltrumite powers. Instead, it's all about superhuman strength, speed, endurance, and a whole bunch of jaw-dropping physical capabilities. But in the wild world of comic book adaptations and alternative continuities, things go a bit topsy-turvy. Sometimes characters like Omni-Man gain or lose powers faster than you can say multiverse. As for the here and now, there's no official stamp of approval to suggest that Omni-Man moonlights as a telepathic superhero, forging psychic links with beings from galaxies far, far away. It's like searching for Bigfoot. You've got some intriguing eyewitness accounts, but there's no concrete evidence. It's about as elusive as the Loch Ness Monster is. But don't lose hope just yet. This little telepathy conundrum can be the fuel for fan theories, what-if scenarios, or even future storylines that take us on a journey into the more esoteric side of Viltrumite genetics. It'd be like opening a treasure chest of untapped potential, and who knows what cosmic treasures lie within. Omni-Man's weakness makes you sad for him. First up, we've got the most unexpected kink in the Viltrumite armour, a dash of humanity. Despite all the tough Viltrumite upbringing and trainings, Nolan Grayson starts catching feelings during his time on Earth. In his epic throwdown with his own son, Mark, he's all set to give him the old 1-2, but then, bam, a sweet memory of his kid's childhood hits him like a ton of bricks. He can't bring himself to finish the job, even though he'd been coldly talking about making more babies with different women just moments before. And when Mark responds with a heartfelt, "You, Dad," to Nolan's question about what he's going to have after 500 years, the old man has a full-on existential crisis. He realises he's been doing a number on his own flesh and blood, and that's when the waterworks start. Nolan goes from a stone-cold killer to a weeping father. But hey, there's more to this Viltrumite Achilles heel. Turns out their ears are as delicate as a teacup poodle at a rock concert. You see, when you mess with the equilibrium in a Viltrumite's ears, mainly by cranking up the frequency, it's like a one-way ticket to Pain City. And maybe even death row. The US government, ever the crafty tacticians, spent years trying to find Omni-Man's kryptonite. When it became clear all the big tough weapons were just bouncing off of him like rubber balls, they switched gears. Instead of hitting him where it hurts physically, they went for a more auditory assault. Knowing full well that Viltrumites have eardrums of steel, they whipped up an earpiece that could unleash a sonic symphony of agony. They tried it on Nolan's own son, Mark, and let's just say it worked like a charm. So it turns out, even the seemingly invincible can be brought to their knees with a little frequency tweak. Marvellous verdict. In the grand universe of comic book characters, Omni-Man stands out as a fascinating blend of extraordinary abilities and unexpected vulnerabilities. His Viltrumite heritage grants him an impressive array of superhuman powers, from unmatched strength and speed to the ability to travel at near light speeds. But what sets Omni-Man apart is the glimpse of humanity that occasionally resurfaces within him, his attachment to his son, Mark, and the emotions that momentarily halt his ruthless actions during their intense battle add depth and relatability to his character. Omni-Man's physiology, like the best comic book characters, is a range of strengths, weaknesses, and the enduring struggle between the superhuman and the human. It serves as a reminder that even in the world of gods and heroes, the most compelling stories often revolve around all too human elements that make us relate to those larger-than-life figures. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't done so already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.